freedom, 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 freedom.
This is Freedom Global News.
Attorney General of the Federation says the federal government is not in breach of Supreme Court injunction. Finland arrests IPOB leader Simon Ekpa. Federal government tells prison controllers to reject inmates they cannot accommodate.
This is
Another foreign senior revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara reburied in Burkina Faso.
This is Freedom Global News.
Good evening, you listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 23rd of February 2023, which is equivalent to the 2nd of Sha'aban 1444 after Hijri. Now the news in full. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami said that the President Muhammadu Buhari did not breach the Supreme Court's injunction as regards to the Naira redesign and the currency swap issue. Abubakar Malami stated that as far as the rule of law is concerned, there are many options available. The minister made the declaration today during the 67th ministerial press briefing at the State House. A 7-member panel of the Supreme Court had ordered the suspension of the Naira swap deadlines and directed the continued use of the old notes following a request by 3 state governors. However, in a broadcast, the president only restored the validity of the old 200 notes, maintaining that the old 500 and 1,000 notes had ceased to be valid, a declaration that stirred various reactions across the country. Biafran separatist leader Simon Ekpa has been arrested in Finland days after threatening to frustrate Nigeria's general elections. Finnish daily Helsinki Sanoma reported that Simon Ekpa was taken into custody by plainclothes police officers shortly before he was due to be interviewed by a filmmaker at his residence in Lahti, southern Finland. It was not immediately clear why Mr. Ekpa was arrested or when he would be released, but the paper said that the separatist provocator was likely to face prolonged interrogations, with officers saying if they were only doing their job on the matter. The arrest comes as Mr. Ekpa intensifies an attempt to frustrate the Nigerian presidential elections scheduled for February 25th. Mr. Ekpa, who is 37 years of age, shot into prominence following the abduction of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu by Nigerian authorities in June 2021, becoming the de facto leader of the secessionist movement. He had declared a so-called sit-at-home edict for residents across the country's southeast to stay away from polling centres or suffer violent consequences. The Nigerian government had asked Finland to intervene in the operation of a separatist in Lahti, and today the KRP prevented from entering Ekpa's apartment and said the interview would move to the future. The Federal State Ministry of Environment says the monthly sanitation will be held tomorrow instead of Saturday. The Public Relations Officer of the Ministry, Farouk Musa, made this known in a press release today. The ministry said that due to the coinciding of the presidential and National Assembly elections with monthly sanitation exercise, the ministry has deemed it necessary to harmonize the exercise to take place tomorrow, Friday, 24th February 2023, for the general exercise. It also noted that the takeoff time is 8 a.m. On the sporting arena, 4-time Nigeria Professional Football League champions Kano Pillars and their Northwest rivals Katsina United have now returned their attention to the Nigeria National League as the second-tier division prepares to kick off next month. Mamatan Uba has details of this and other sports updates.
both Kano Pillars and Katsina United were relegated from the Nigeria Professional Football League last season and were also reported to be looking for a backdoor entrance into the top flight league. Following the speculation of buying the MPFL slot of private club Doma United, who were promoted to the MPFL last season, Katsina United are grouped in the Northern Conference A2 along with the City FC, NAF FC, FWC champions, all in Abuja, as well as Green Beret of Kaduna and Jigawa Golden State of Dutse. Kano Pillars are in Group A3 with the Kebbi United, Sokoto United and Mulumfash FC of Katsina. In another update, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shuaibu, has been invited by the International Federation of Association Football to the annual celebration of Football Greatest Stars, the Best FIFA Football Award, scheduled to take place in Paris on February 27th. Shuaibu, who is a sport lover, got the international recognition and invitation due to his contribution towards sport development in Edo State. Meanwhile, Flying Eagles defender Solomon Akbalaka has reflected on the team's hard-fought win against Egypt last night. Ladon Boso's side got their campaign at the 2023 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations back on track after a stunning victory against the host. Akbalaka, who was named man of the match after the game, stated that his team deserved to beat the young Pharaohs, who wasted a number of good chances in the contest. Next in the line for the Flying Eagles is the final group game against Mozambique on Saturday. And on tennis, Andy Murray continued his eventful start to the season with a notable win over Germany's Alexander Zverev to put him into the Qatar Open quarterfinals. The 35-year-old Briton produced a performance of customary grade to win 7-6, 7-5, 7-5, 5-5, absorbing 3-hour match in Doha. Muhammad Sanu Uba, Freedom Radio.
The Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradioNigeria.com, or call us through this number, 082-4441-63.
Musa, me kake nema a cikin kitchen?
Masoyiyata, ina son cokali in sha magani.
Masoyina, ka ɗauki comics kawai, ka yaga, sha ka samu sauki.
Haka ne fa, ku yi amfani da comics ma duk kai tari. Comics yana da dextromethorphan da guaifenesin. Kawai ku yaga ku sha, ku samu sauki yana kulele in ka sha. Aha, na samu sauki yanzu. Ina son comics. Comics, Company Orange Drugs Limited, da ke yin kasuwanci da dilancinta. Maganin zai iya saka kasala. In alamar tarin bata tsaya ba bayan kwana 3, ka ga likitanka. Comics yana kulele.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. The federal government has instructed state controllers of correctional centers to reject inmates when they do not have the capacity to accommodate them. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Shuaibu Belgore, gave the instruction in Abuja at the decoration ceremony of newly promoted senior officers of the Nigerian Correctional Services. He said custodial centers had witnessed upsurge of inmates in recent years, noting that the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, had kick-started a stakeholders engagement for the congestion of correctional facilities across the nation. He said the efforts had been boosted by building of new facilities in Kano and Garshi in the Federal Capital Territory. The Defense Headquarters today said troops have arrested one of the masterminds of the 28th March 2022 terrorist attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train services at Dambo Community, Chukun local government area of Kaduna State. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, who disclosed this at a bi-weekly media briefing on military successes at various front lines in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, said the troops also recovered the sum of $5,000 as well as other currency during the operations. According to Namadami, troops on operations in the northeast, north central, and northwest killed 133 Boko Haram terrorists, Islamic State of West Africa Province terrorists, in different locations in the last 2 weeks. He said a total of A total of 252 terrorists and members of their families, comprising of 24 male, 79 female, and 150 children, have surrendered to troops at different locations within the theater of operations, adding that 41 kidnapped civilians were also rescued during operations within the period under review. For tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic, here is the report.
Tomorrow morning will be sunny at an average temperature of 16 degrees Celsius and later change to 36 degrees Celsius with the same weather conditions. Dutse in Jigawa State will be sunny sky at an average temperature of 14 degrees Celsius and later change to 34 degrees Celsius with the same weather conditions. Kaduna will be hazy weather at an average temperature of 18 degrees Celsius and later change to 35 degrees Celsius with the same weather conditions. Abuja will be hazy weather at an average temperature of 22 degrees Celsius and later change to 37 degrees Celsius with the same weather conditions. Lagos will be mostly sunny at an average temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and later change to 14 degrees Celsius with the same weather conditions. Maradi in Niger Republic will be sunny at an average temperature of 18 degrees Celsius and later change to 37 degrees Celsius with the same weather condition. Zindel will be sunny at an average temperature of 18 degrees Celsius and later change to 36 degrees Celsius with the same weather conditions. At Idris Galpa, Freedom Radio.
Another foreign seen the body of Burkina Faso's revolutionary and charismatic leader Thomas Sankara has been reburied alongside 12 comrades at the spot of their assassination nearly 30 years ago. Soldiers and community leaders paid tribute during a ceremony today at the site in the capital, Ouagadougou, which has since become a memorial for the former leader, featuring a life-size statue of him pumping his fist in the air. All the coffins were draped in Burkina Faso flags with a photo beside them. Sankara came to power in August 1983 as an army captain, aged 33, after he and former President Blaise Compaoré led a leftist coup that overthrew a moderate military faction. Nicknamed Africa's Che Guevara, he was a fiery Marxist-Leninist who blasted the West for neo-colonialism and hypocrisy. He changed the country's name from the colonial era Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, the land of honest men, and pushed through a range of reforms, including promoting vaccination and banning female genital mutilation. But his tenure was short-lived. Sankara and a dozen other leaders were shot dead by a hit squad at a meeting of the ruling National Revolutionary Council on October 15th, 1987. And with this, we've come to the end of today's global news. But before we go, highlights of the major stories. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami said that President Muhammadu Buhari did not breach the Supreme Court's injunction as regards to the Naira redesign and currency swap issue. Biafran separatist leader Simon Ekpa has been arrested in Finland days after threatening to frustrate Nigeria's general elections. The federal government has instructed state controllers of correctional centers to reject inmates when they do not have the capacity to accommodate them. And on the foreign scene, the body of Burkina Faso's revolutionary and charismatic leader Thomas Sankara has been reburied alongside 12 comrades at the spot of the assassination nearly 30 years ago. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful evening.
This is Freedom Global News.
Freedom.
Pop.
Freedom. 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 Freedom.
Freedom Radio.
Asadawa ga mai rabuta ki.
Yan mara ya kaga mu zaki.
Muhammad Abacha أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على نبي الكريم السلام عليكم جماعة ni Alhaji Muhammad Sani Abacha na kira ga dukkanin al'ummar jihar Kano da ma ƙasa baki ɗaya da ku fito ranar Asabar 25 ga wannan wata dan kaɗa wa jam'iyyar mu ta PDP ƙuri'a tun daga kan dan takarar mu na shugaban ƙasa Alhaji Atiku Abubakar wazirin Adama sanatoci da 'yan majalisar tarayya mun sani wannan ƙasa tana cikin mawuyacin hali da durƙushewar tattalin arziki rashin tsaro durƙushewar ilimi harkar lafiya da tsadar rayuwa don haka zaɓar jam'iyyar PDP shine mafita a gare mu domin ita ce kadai muke kyakkyawan zato cikin ikon Allah za ta zama mafita ga al'ummar da magance dukkanin matsalolinmu. Allah ya taimaki jihar mu ta Kano da ƙasar mu baki ɗaya ya taimaki jam'iyyar mu ta PDP amin. Nagode dan uwanku Alhaji Muhammadu Sani Abacha.
Aisha dan kanina faɗi, sanata ta zankarar ni'ima in faɗi, tsakiyar Kano na bayan mama.
Ayyiriri ga sabon labari, jama'ar Kano ta tsakiya kakar ku ta yanke saka. Mun daɗe kuna tura wakilan tsofaffi ba wakilan dattawa ba, wanda ba sa amfanar da ku komai sai dai su amfanar da kansu. To a yanzu ku ce alhamdulillahi, domin kuwa Allah ya kawo muku mace mai kamar maza wacce za ta wakilce ku a majalisar dattawan Najeriya. Barista Hajiya Aisha Ibrahim Dankani, mace mai taimakon marayu, mai jin kan zawarawa da matasa wacce ta kare rayuwarta wajen taimakon